Hello in the rain from Downing Street. Now, we asked you on our GMB Instagram page yesterday what your burning Brexit questions were. So we've picked out a few. Samantha Hope says, what happens now that Theresa May has won the confidence vote? Well, good question. It basically means that Theresa May now can carry on in her job. The government can carry on trying to find a Brexit deal that will win the majority of MPs in the House over, and of course then convince the EU that that deal is something that they can agree to too. But listen, this is an uphill struggle for Theresa May, of course, and time is running out. But in terms of the confidence vote, unlike the one that was triggered against her personally, which she won, which means that now she can't be removed from office with another confidence vote for another year, confidence votes in the government can be retabled. So before this is all over, we could see more confidence votes in the government being called, and perhaps even a general election. Now, Dan says, are we definitely leaving in March? Good question again. Now, at the moment, Theresa May is steadfastly saying that it is enshrined in law that we will leave on March the 29th, and that is true, of course. But with all the furore, this huge saga that doesn't seem to have an end in sight at the moment, many are now saying, including some in Europe, that actually we should extend Article 50, and that means delaying when we leave, perhaps even for just a few months, to give the whole country and Parliament more time to come up with a Brexit deal that satisfies enough people to get it passed through the Commons. But at the moment, she says, look, this is in law. We must leave on March the 29th at 11 p.m. And if we wanted to change that, then somebody would have to table a change to legislation, a change in the law. And I think that is looking likely. Now, does Mrs May's plan allow for the UK to have a trade deal with the US? This is from Ibrahim Afsar. Well, this is the big question. So her deal, in essence, would eventually allow us to strike free trade deals with the US and other countries. But if this deal went through, or any deal went through, we would have a transition period of 2 years up to December 2020. And in that period, we would remain in the customs union, which means we couldn't strike any trade deals around the world. But the problem throughout has been this, that the Irish backstop, the way to avoid a hard border that she has come up with, is staying in the customs union until we find a deal with the EU on how to trade with them in the future that would avoid a hard border. Now, the government's own legal advice says that that Irish backstop, which keeps us in the customs union, could keep us in there forever, essentially, even though the EU have promised it will be temporary. And that is why Brexiteers are very angry and against this deal, because they're saying ultimately that could stop us from striking trade deals with the US and other countries for many, many years to come. And that simply isn't the Brexit we all expected. And finally, for now, Paul Rogers says, what would I do differently if I was in the Prime Minister's shoes? Well, I can promise you this, I would end up hiding in Chequers, eating cheese under the covers of my duvet, hoping that I would wake up one day when all this is over. So just be glad I am not in her shoes.